Alright. I'm gonna try to make this video as short as I can because I got a sore throat. But something happened not that something happened last night. It actually happened a couple days ago, but I just noticed it last night. And it's made me really start to rethink a lot of how I perceive YouTube. I personally believe that the people who are allegedly trolls, I believe wholeheartedly that a vast majority, not all, but a vast majority of them are funded and supported by YouTube. I remember I was sharing this with a friend of mine about the time when that Madam Lipscomb lady or whoever decided that she was gonna take her listeners or her followers, whatever, and declare war on me. And she made a comment that on one of my videos, kind of like daring me to block her. And I told her, I ended up blocking her, but before I blocked her, I told her, look, I don't block people who want to say what they want to say. I like to let comments go because I can go back and show people when they say, nah, what you're saying, you're just over embellishing. No. Go look at these comments and see what people are actually saying. That's why I don't really block people. Now, I blocked her because she kept coming back, calling names, but not arguing any of my points, or not even arguing things that I caught her in. But she made a comment and she said something along the lines of, if I block her, she was going to ruin my channel. Now, I would say, how can one ruin someone's channel when they're blocked? Once you're blocked, you're blocked. You don't have access to that channel anymore. So, my channel, in essence, I've been fighting vigorously to keep it on life support. I definitely don't get the views I used to get, and I think that's very suspicious, seeing as how I blocked her, probably about 3 or 4 months by now, probably less than that, probably like 2 months, 2.5, and I went from, now, I don't get, popular YouTube numbers, views, but I was getting anywhere from 100 to maybe 200 views every couple of videos. Not every video I did, hundreds of people viewed, but for a while there, it seemed like that's where I was. After all this stuff went down, all of a sudden, I'm barely getting 30, 20 views a week. Now, like I said, at the time, when I did a video about her video, it wasn't anything to do with her per se. She took it as I was talking about her, but I was using her as an example of how majority of so-called black women think. That's what they think and feel about us. They think we're animals and we're replaceable. That's why they have no problem having majority of us in living environments that wouldn't be suitable for any other human being. That was my whole point. So she proceeded, and I didn't care that she made videos about me and this and that. Well, I think she only made one, far as I know, declaring me an enemy. Now, how could someone declare someone an enemy because they pointed out your philosophical points that you were making in a video? I often wondered that. But how can you then also declare destroying someone's channel after they block you? Now, I had 2 more females come on that the video, which it's been up almost a year now. YouTube refuses to let me capitalize off of it. It's one of my only videos where I've gotten, I think, over 40,000 views, over like 20,000 comments. Just mainly motherfuckers who want to argue about my opinion. It's something that happened to me and people took it so personal as if like it had something to do with them. But they commented on there and I commented back. I'm not expecting a response just because I am wholeheartedly believing that trolls are a paid tool of YouTube. And I think what happened, and this is just, I don't know, but this is just my guesstimation and my opinion. You know that moment that Cat Williams talks about in his comedy routine where he talks about he went to this party and there was a whole lot of gay shit going on, and he alluded to it, but he didn't really go into specifics. I think to a degree that's what YouTube has become. Almost like if you become real popular on YouTube, especially when you do social commentary, it's almost like you go through this ritual. And if you don't go through this ritual, then your channel pretty much dries up. Like, you can keep trying to put water on the dead plant, but it's like whatever you put in the soil sucks it up before it gets to the plant. And for as much as information and as much perspective as I've given on a lot of my videos and all the favorable comments, the fact that majority of my videos are thumbs up as opposed to thumbs down, which leads me to believe what I'm saying isn't necessarily wrong. It's just that people don't like to admit to the truth, or at least admit the fact that what I'm saying has some possibility of truth in it. So, why is it that a lot of the videos, a handful of the videos that I've done, that tends to have the most views? Now, I know all of those aren't necessarily views, like people aren't watching, they're going there to just reply and respond and make comments. They all revolve around black women. Now, one or two things could be true, or both. The first thing that could be true is that black women are just that insecure. That if someone they don't know says something about them critical online that's not necessarily favorable or simping for them, then they form Voltron in the form of, I'm going to speak my opinion even though no one asked you for your fucking opinion. Like, the funny thing about YouTube is I do videos just like this, speaking my opinion. Those who like it will like it. Those who don't. What I do expect is the people who don't like it to not fucking comment. To not leave, like, if you want to leave a thumbs down, leave a thumbs down. I don't really see what that accomplishes, but if that's what you want to do, then go ahead. My videos are for those who are like-minded. So, that's the first possibility. The second possibility is that to further facilitate the insecurity, you have a lot of trolls that will come there and pose as black women and be argumentative, advantageous. And then it's almost like there is a self-fulfilling prophecy to a degree of which all that insecurity that they're displaying under a fake account or a troll account then somehow gets translated into becoming real. And what I mean by that is the perception, because perception is the reality. See, the perception of the people who talk shit to me about that video and feel the need to leave their comments to me, their perception of me is that I'm humongously fat. The reality is, and I've shown myself on other videos as my full body, that I am not very fat. Yes, I am not skinny by no stretch of the imagination, but I am not on my 600-pound life. I am not that fat. But even so, even if I was 700 pounds, does it make anything that I say null and void? Or that I've said null and void? Does it make anything that I say not true? So, I think there's, in my opinion, I think there is kind of a convenient conflict. Meaning that there's always been this dumbass rule that black men can't say anything about black women. And these trolls, whether they be black, whether they be white, whether they be whatever, capitalizes on that and try to further the divide. So, what I have learned and what I am going to try to do from now on, which is battle or respond back with a logical response, as opposed to saying something about black women, particularly in the comment of me having a rebuttal. Because I'm starting to think that a lot of the women that comment on my page are not black women. They're probably some other ethnic group, and they're using this as a tool to further divide black men and women. Now, my only thing, and I'll end this video on this note, my only thing with why I speak about some of the things I do about black women is because black women sat up there and had no problem throughout the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and even now on their own YouTube channel, have no problem getting up here talking about how black men need to step up their game and do this shit and do that shit and what they need to do. Yet no one has stepped up and told there has been people that stepped up, but they're not well received. What black women need to do to step their shit up, to get their game up. And let me put you onto something. It's deeper than just being educated. Because education just means you can regurgitate something you've been taught. Intelligence means you learn something without the outside influence of anyone else interfering in your life. Intelligence is developed over a lifetime of experiences. So my experiences predominantly have been with black women. My experiences have led me to the intelligence of that majority of them. Clearly it's not all if I ended up marrying a black woman. So clearly it's not all. But the vast majority of black women are, in my opinion, very crass, very disrespectful, very unprofessional, just forever having attitude when it's not necessary, do not know how to talk to black men in a professional or public setting. They think that because they have benefited greatly with all these grants and all this shit they do for women, that somehow they're better than the men, when if the men were getting half of 1/4 of the fucking grants and the benefits and scholarships offered to black women just for fucking having a vagina and being black, black men would excel. Because when black men are not around black women, a whole bunch of them, especially those that don't have their best interests at heart, black men thrive. Black men tend to do way better when they're not around a black woman. So, is that true across the board? No. But it is very true in majority of the cases that you see when you see that there's a black man by himself or dealing with someone outside of the black race. They tend to excel way further and way more and way quicker than when they deal with someone who is of the same race. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean that it's all inclusively true one way or the other. But it does mean when you can constantly see black men after black men after black men, excel at high levels when they're not around a bunch of irresponsible black women, that tells you something right there. And it should tell you something right there. But the fact that you can have a single white mother raise up your quote-unquote first black president, well, selected president, that should tell you something. But at the end of the day, how I feel about the situation that's gone down on my YouTube page, there's nothing I can really do about it. All I can keep doing is keep trying to tell the truth and try to get the truth out there. And if it, hopefully it reaches as many ears as it can reach. But at the end of the day, a lot of times, I don't even think these people are real. Meaning, I don't think they're real black women that come there and say half the shit that they say. Because a lot of the way they speak doesn't speak the way that a black woman would speak, in my opinion.